Hey, how you doing? This is Sejihito here to bring you the news. So I just want to start off by stating this. For anybody that may have a problem directly with the content, that's cool. I'm just going to ask you to step away and to unsubscribe like the rest have been doing and make sure that you block the channel. No need to come through on the platform and to make false allegations on anything. And I do mean anything. And then deciding to run away after your comment was pinned and you want to delete it and then you want to respond back and write something else and then delete that. If you're going to state anything about me that is false, make sure as the individual that you are, you stand 10 toes down on whatever it is that you're stating, right? Don't bitch out and decide to run. Leave it directly up there. Now, what today's topic is has to do with three stories. As you can clearly see in no specific order, the G.F.Gs, you have Protect the Kids, and the a state police officer who was arrested, right? So the video that you see here, and I'm also going to reiterate just in case if YouTube happens to make it directly to this live stream, please pay attention and listen directly to the live stream before you decide to listen to the people who will flag the video and who want to do a whole bunch of other stuff. The content that you're seeing that is being showcased was captured, and these are some of the things that I wanted to bring awareness to and about on all three of my platforms. Over the years, I've tried to make sure to let parents know the type of individuals who are specifically out there who are going directly after their families, minors, other people's kids, right? And in this video, you can clearly see a family, right? 3 kids, 2 adults. You see the mother in the back. You see one daughter in white, another daughter in blue, and you see the son, right? The son is watching more of quote unquote the stranger who is watching the family, right? But yet you are able to see that the one that needs the utmost attention, that needs to be paid attention to and highlighted is the father. The father decided that it was very great and very awesome to commit this type of act. Not only the fact is he getting recorded, but he's doing this, of course, in public, which means that he's comfortable, that this type of thing is normalized. It's normalized to the effect that you didn't even see the daughter even shudder, even stop, pause, try to fight back, try to resist, or anything like that. Again, the behavior is normalized. This is how this type of trauma, this is how these types of things go on in a lot of families. And you also see the mother there. And I'm pretty sure for the duration, the mother was able to see specifically what was going on, but yet she's not paying attention to her daughter. Magically, she's not aware for whatever reason. And again, this dude did that for quite some seconds. Quite some seconds. His own daughter. His own daughter. I'm going to repeat, his own daughter. These are some of the things that mainstream media does not like to show and doesn't like to talk about. These are some of the things that a lot of platforms directly out there, sometimes YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, IG, when you happen to want to talk about and showcase these things, you will get penalized. Multitude of times, even on this platform, I have been penalized myself for trying to bring awareness and talk about these specific issues and these topics. In a lot of videos that I have brought forth to you guys, I've specifically stated that beyond everything that I happen to talk about or mention, the main thing, the main priority that people should focus on is caring about the kids, trying to protect the kids, being a guardian, being a parent, making sure things are okay for that child. And obviously, we're living in a world, as I've stated before, where a lot of parents, a lot of adults, a lot of guardians don't want to be what it is that they should be. And because they decide to lack, these are the things that take place and happen to children, and it shouldn't. And another reason why these videos don't get showcased and talked about a lot, especially on YouTube, by every content creator, is because number one, YouTube will decide to, shadow ban the content. They'll decide to throttle the content. They'll make sure not to put out notifications. They'll make sure not to put content like this on the front page. And again, the front page is supposed to be for whatever. Like if anybody is interested in said content that a content creator makes, it's directly up there. But YouTube and many other platforms, they pick and choose what content people will specifically see. So even though this is a very important video, even though this content right here is very much important, they will opt to push this to the side, put it directly underneath the rug, not highlight the content, and they'll put something else up there that's of, much more entertaining type of value, right? So like I said, there's a very huge problem directly out here, all across the board. And another reason that you don't see a lot of content creators covering or talking about um, a lot of this is out of fear. A lot of content creators want to keep their platform. A lot of content creators, don't want to impede or stop what it is that they have growing or that they have established at this moment in time. Because again, like I said before, a lot of people know right from wrong, and a lot of people know the issues that we should realistically talk about. But due to the effect of fear, you're not going to have a lot of people opting and deciding to talk about these topics. Again, people will pick and choose what's important and what's not important. And it's a shame. So, it's amazing to me when people state that they actually care about the kids, but they're not willing to try to risk. They're not willing to try to go out on a limb and put out information specifically to, make things aware, make others directly aware out there. Shout out to Arthur Phoenix said, like number 3, hit the like button to show support and appreciation. The funniest thing is, it used to be a point in time when I would actually tell people like, hey, hit the like and, all that, but it was like pulling teeth. And I really felt that, if I did content that is important, I did content that would highlight and showcase an injustice and a problem, that, you would actually get fields of support. People would actually be like, yo, man, da 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 da. Nah. And I'm like, well, there's that. So this is why, when I get online, I generalize a lot because my generalizations are proven true a lot of the times. So when I happen to say that a lot of adults don't care about the kids, it shows. You're not going to tell me that you can have a platform that has about 92K at this moment in time, because YouTube is, making sure to either delete or go through the subscriber list and get rid of, whatnot or whatever. You're not going to tell me that you got a platform that has about 90K directly on it, and then you're also streaming to another platform that has about 30 something K directly on it, and that magically you're not getting an abundance of conversations or views or threads directly about this. This is basically showcasing two things. Number one, that these systems or the powers that be do a very great job at hiding certain types of content. And number two, it showcases the fact that a lot of people don't realistically care about the things that they actually say that they care about. Right. So now we're going to continue on again in no, specific order. I'm going to go to this video here.
Likens, but the person who was arrested in this case occurred this week in Likens, but the person who was arrested in this case is a police officer who works here at the Steelton Borough. Steelton police officer Justin Hain is facing charges including rape and other offenses, according to state police. A trooper wrote in charging documents that a woman said Hain on Wednesday forced himself on her despite telling him not to touch her. A child was also allegedly present at the time of the incident.
These are very disturbing charges.
Dauphin County District Attorney Fran Chardo says after the victim reported what happened to police, investigators arranged to record a phone conversation between the victim and Hain.
The wiretap was an important step in this case to get the defendant's version of events, and he made important admissions on that recorded interview. Basically conceding that it happened.
The DA says Hain has previously worked in the Dauphin County Sheriff's Office as well as the Royalton and Middletown Police Departments. Mayor Sierra Dent in Steelton confirmed Hain's suspension from the borough police force, but would not say if he is suspended with or without pay.
So we were all able to hear the information, right? So let me just rehash just a little bit. They said charges filed by state police in Likens. Justin Haynes, age 38, of Likens, allegedly raped the woman as she was feeding her child on Wednesday, January 10th. Troopers say in a criminal complaint that the woman told them that when she got out of the shower with the towel on and was with her child, Hain came out of his bedroom with a weird grin. She told him not to touch her. Hain, the criminal complaint states, removed the towel and pinned her to the couch, raping her. The woman stated to police that she told Hain to stop and hit him multiple times. She also told investigators that at one point, Hain pushed her head into the couch and she was unable to move. After the assault, the woman waited until Hain went to work, then was able to go to a friend's house to call police. Later in the day, the complaint states that the woman called Hain, which was recorded by police, to confront him about the alleged sexual assault. And Hain, the cop, admitted to raping her. Quote, "I didn't intentionally rape you," Hain is quoted as stating to the woman during the phone call, and troopers also stated in the complaint. He also repeatedly apologized. Hain was suspended from his duties. Hain faces multiple felony charges of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse with forcible compulsion, rape with forcible compulsion, and sexual assault. He also faced misdemeanor charges of incident assault with forcible compulsion and indecent assault without the consent of others. Hain is a Dauphin County prison on bail that is set to $50,000. If he posts bail, one condition is that he has no contact with the woman. So I want to point out to people that this is one of the main people that people worship a lot, one of the God of gods, right? You also see other women that like to worship and go after men such as him. And when these stories are highlighted directly on social media, you hear nothing from any of those groups. You hear nothing from Payne's community. You hear nothing from the women who specifically go after men who look just like him. Those people are completely silent. And then I try to find any of the women who are quote unquote feminist and they're, specifically for empowering, women and trying to protect them. And I don't see them underneath these stories when these news stations post these stories. The comment section is pretty barren. 0 comments, actually. And I find that to be pretty weird that you have a cop who is here to protect and serve, to make sure everybody is fine and dandy in the community. The only thing that he is protecting and serving is himself. And he's taken directly from a woman. Not only that, but he's taken from a woman that is feeding her child. The child was able to more than likely witness this and hear this take place. And I'm not sure how in the future that incident is going to affect that child. We weren't able to hear from the mother how that may have affected the child. If, the child, witnessed or heard, or what the child's reaction is. As I stated before, nobody actually is talking about protecting the children. And the people out here who are supposed to help to protect the children, and also the women out here, are the main ones that are predators. But oddly enough, I guess due to the effect that pain does not fit, Hain does not fit as the stereotypical male who is of a certain demographic. Since he's not the poster child, nobody seems to care, and it's not of any type of importance. Again, I find that to be very, very interesting. And again, to be a very telling situation on how a lot of things are allowed. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that I brought you guys a video where a mother stated that she complained about a 13-year-old and what it is that she was wearing. And the mother decided to tell another mother that, hey, well, if my 4-year-old son decides to grow up and he wants to, quote unquote, go after your daughter because of the way that she is dressing, it's not my problem. So again, the main thing that I'm trying to let people know is that you have a lot of accomplices all over that, that justify these types of actions from men that look just like Pain. You have a lot of industries. You have a lot of corporations that are in cahoots in order to body block for men that look just like Pain. I'm sorry. Hey, sorry, I don't know how I keep getting this confused. And you have a lot of women out there that shelter men that look just like this. They're in their families, their friends, relatives, co-workers, and they allow these guys to be around other women. They allow these guys to be around children. And they know specifically what is going to happen because either they were a part of it or it happened to them. And as I've stated before, for me, the way that I look at society now, there's no real type of sisterhood, because if there were, then a lot of men like Hain, who was a cop at a moment in time, who decided to rape a woman, he would not, in a sense, be here at this moment in time. He wouldn't. And just like the previous video that I showed you right here, where you got a father that is clear-cut touching his daughter in public. The mother is there, but magically she's acting like, Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. She's looking everywhere else but paying attention to her kids because the mother knows. Trust and believe, the mother knows when these things are taking place. Nobody's going to tell me that this woman did not see any of these things that were taking place out in the open. Everybody else can see it. This man that filmed it, he saw it. So we can also see it. You're not going to tell me that the only person there that didn't see it was the mother. But like I said before, for the young son that was there, he was more worried about the dude filming versus his sister. Priorities are all messed up. And that's what I sit up there and try to tell people. Everything is a sleight of hand. A lot of times people will tell you to worry about the strangers directly out here. And they'll say that, oh, the strangers are the worst people. They're the most devious. They're the most evil. They'll do the utmost to you. When realistically, the real predator is directly in home. So what is up, Hazel? You must be new here. No problem. I got you. Because I'm not going to sit up there and let people slip by trying to say stuff again. After what people tried to do in one of my videos earlier, we ain't even doing it. So you said, so it's just women that allow this. Where are the men? Respectfully, ma'am, are you watching the same video that I'm watching at this moment in time? I'm just asking very nicely. Are you watching the same video? So the father that is there, he's the head of the house, correct? He is the lead. Obviously, he is corrupted. You see him clearly touching his daughter in public as if that is his woman. And you see the wife behind with the rest of the kids. So when I'm sitting up here stating to you with actual proof that you have women that allow this and they know that this stuff is going on, I'm telling you exactly what I'm telling you. And I mean every single thing that I state. Like, I'm not sure if I have to go by real world examples again when it deals with men in the Black community, of the stories that I've covered over 4 to 5 years, where you've had a tag team of both a mother and the boyfriend or whoever, both going after the child. So again, when I'm sitting up there stating to you that you have women out here allowing this, yes, you do. There's women right now, more than likely in your family, that know of men that are the touchy-feely uncle. They're keeping and hiding secrets of being molested. But instead of turning those men in, putting them in prison, instead of something actually being done, those women still allow those men to be around kids at family gatherings, at family functions, at schools, and everywhere else. How are men in the family supposed to know that this is going on if women are keeping the secret, if women are not wanting or willing to specifically talk about it? Growing up, there's a lot of girls that I knew that were molested, and nothing was ever done about those men because they refused to specifically talk about it to the other men of the family. So again, I'm asking, how is it that men in the community are supposed to do something about a problem that they're not even being made aware of? If women are keeping the secret and they know that this is happening, that's the problem. I, as a man, can't do anything if I don't know what the problem is. There's nothing I can do. I can't save somebody that won't allow me to basically save them from a situation that they shouldn't even be in. There's nothing that I can do. Like I said, that mother knows what's going on. I've covered other stories as well where mothers have sold their children into sex slavery. They've sold their babies to dealers. I've showcased a video where a mother rented out her home or a hotel for guys who are traveling to South America. And I'm talking about these guys are European in nature. And they go directly down to South America and they meet up with the mother and the daughter. And then they commence to whatever business deals that they have. These are things that take place. You have women all over that decide that in order to get some type of monetary gain, they're willing to sit up there and sell their kids. They're willing to let any and everything happen just for a little bit of money. Because at the end of the day, it's not them, remember? They're not going to be the ones that's going to have to deal with that trauma. They're not going to have to deal with those memories. They're not going to be the ones that's going to grow up broken and shattered. You know? You said, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. No problem. No problem. Like I said, misunderstandings do take place. And it takes a lot for a person to, admit, when a misstep or anything like that happens. I respect that. So like I said, I have no problems. That's why I came, completely calm, and I came respectful. So, I just wanted to, make sure everything was completely correct, while we go on with the conversation and everything that is, being stated directly in the live stream and, about the video. And again, as I told people before, this is why I like to bring up proof and videos of the things that I am stating. So, that there are less, misunderstandings, directly from people. Um, he said, "That's true, brother. I don't understand why. It's a learned low vibrational thing. The problem with it is, and as I've told people before, beyond everything that I talk about here that people want to get angry and mad about and say that I'm anti this or that or whatnot or whatever, my main thing and my main consistent thing that I've talked about for years is protecting kids. Obviously, there's not a lot of people out here on this planet that are on the exact same line of thinking, because obviously a lot of people don't care. There's a lot of people out here that don't care about kids. I've had too many conversations where this has basically shown me the types of people who are directly out here and the types of people who would allow things like this to specifically take place with kids. And I'm like, the only thing I can do at this moment in time is just feel sorry, because I wish I could actually do more, but I can't. Not at this moment, because again, as I stated to people before, you don't get any type of support when you do content like this. You don't. People will sit up there and tell you, like, hey, I'm not trying to sit up there and see this every day. I know it's important, yada, yada, yada. But the thing I tell people is this: you might not deem it as important, you might not want to see it, but a child directly in your family is going through this. So you not wanting to see this or ignore this, you're basically ignoring the trauma and the pain that that child has to go through every single day. At this moment in time, let me see if I can go back on Twitter. Right? There is a man that's about to get released pretty soon. He is a father. I'm trying to scroll through as quickly as possible so that I can get the information. But there was a father that was in a incestuous relationship within his family, and it is stated that he is going to get released. And my main question is, how is it possible that that man is going to get released after everything that he decided to do? Why? Why would you decide to release a man such as that? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, his name is Joseph Fritz. He admitted to having kept his daughter Elizabeth locked in a cellar as a sex slave and repeatedly raping her for 24 years, fathering 7 children with her, and he may be released soon. It stated that his daughter disappeared in 1984 at the matter of fact, let me just screenshot this. Let me just do that so we can all know what it is that I'm talking about here. Right? Let's get this image real quick. And then we're going to upload this. Let me see. Where is... Didn't I just save the image? Should be in... Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry about that. It's hard to see on the secondary screen, right? So just so that we can read this all together, right? It says Joseph Fritz, who admitted to having kept his daughter Elizabeth locked in a cellar as a sex slave and repeatedly raping her for 24 years, fathering 7 children with her, may be soon released. His daughter disappeared in 1984 at the age of 18 and would not reappear until April 26th of 2008 when she was discovered. Fritz, now 88, received a life sentence in 2009 for incest and repeated rape, coercion, false imprisonment, and enslavement of daughter Elizabeth in the cellar of his home, right, in Amstetten, Australia, as well as neglect homicide for the death of one of the 7 children she gave birth to. Under the terms of his sentence, Fritz will be eligible for parole this year, and his release appears likely after a psychiatric report determined that he is no longer dangerous. Fritz changed his name to Mayhoff after his teeth were knocked out by other inmates. So, again, the reason why I highlight these things is so that people are fully aware of the individuals that are out there. You have a few people out there with a platform like the one that you're able to see in front of you who will just take out the time to post all of these individuals. And what inevitably happens is that they will be affected by the platform because you will have those out there who are the same as Fritz and they don't want these things highlighted. As I've told you guys before, I've learned by way of YouTube that people such as Fritz are considered a protected group. Again, I didn't know this. I showed you guys proof and evidence of this because he took down, some videos that I had posted directly up there. And like I told you guys before, the main thing that I try to do as a content creator is put up very important information that I feel that people should actually know about. But as I stated before, when you decide to do these things, you will be penalized for, putting that type of information directly out there, which, again, it shouldn't happen, but it shouldn't be shocking to a lot of other people because it's letting you know the type of society and the world that we live in where things such as putting out that type of information is seen as a type of negative, right? It's crazy. So, going back to some of the things that I stated before, let me see if I can find another clip of this because the image might happen to mess some stuff up here. Let me see. See if I can actually find the video to make it a little bit simpler. Except I'm trying to see if they'll have the video to make it easier to listen to. Not sure if they got it directly up here. It's probably going to be picture section. Yeah, pictures. But yeah, like I said, that's the one main goal. Protecting the kids, putting information out there so that people and parents can specifically know. Like I said, I get to a point where I'm like, I need people to get over how it is that they feel and, focus on the real issue at hand. Things like this cannot continue to be ignored because the moment in time that you ignore it, you allow it to keep continuously happening. And you can't say that you want to directly, protect kids when things like this are allowed. Right. For whatever reason, I can't seem to find the video, so we're going to... Can I crop it? I might just have to crop it. So that's what we're going to do. So let's give me a little bit to try and crop the video here. Some of the people, well, if I crop it, it should be actually fine. So again, no apologies if anybody feels any type of discomfort or if they feel a certain type of way about seeing this content. I'm just going to ask you to just click off. If you decide that you want to go out on a limb and report the video because of your feelings, Again, all you're doing is enabling this behavior and these types of people to be able to continue doing the things that they want to do. Right? Let me see if I can find a face. Just gonna do that one there. No, I think I need something that's gonna stand. I'll just put a circle. All right, so I'm just gonna screenshot it and add it directly to the presentation. Let me see. All right. So this is the video here.
These are the faces of 21 people that have been convicted today for child abuse. This was a paedophile ring, the biggest that has ever been discovered by West Midlands Police. There were 7 victims, and the abuse was described as abhorrent and cruel and lasted for almost a decade. And what is also interesting is that this case has taken 7 years for the investigation and also the trials that have taken place to come to a conclusion. It's the biggest investigation of this kind for West Midlands Police, and some of the victims were younger than 12 at the time of their abuse. Reporting restrictions were put in place during the third trial that ended on the 5th of April, and 3 people have been convicted and 21 people will be sentenced at a later date. The first trial started in January, and the second trial ran from September to January this year, convicting a further 9 defendants. The child abuse came to light in 2017 when the police started an operation called Satchel. Officers began working with social services, and they tried to safeguard children that were at risk. Police conducted 70 interviews in a quest to bring the offenders to justice. Detective Chief Inspector Paul Drover said this has been a challenging and complex investigation, and it is the biggest that we have ever conducted. At the heart of this are 7 children that suffered horrendous abuse at the hands of these people.
So again, when you look at the image that you see directly in front of you, there's a lot of women that are there. Quite a bit of women that are there. And these women more than likely have families. More than likely in those families that are, you have kids there. These same women were around, children at schools and everywhere else. This is what I'm talking about. Now, I'll put it to you, I'll put it like this. It's always been stated that men are the most evil of the evil when it deals with the world. But the main thing that never gets really highlighted and talked about is the fact that you have women that are just as bad, if not worse, than men. Again, you got mothers that are willing to sell their infants, their own kids, for whatever they need. Doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, money, what have you. There's a story out there that you could literally find that'll prove the point. And women are supposed to be the ones who are what? The most nurturing, the most loving, the most caring. And you see women directly up here on the screen that were a part of this ring, going after kids, probably doing stuff to kids as well, probably also targeting kids as well. And the other thing that I try to tell women specifically out there is that when you're out there in public, you don't know who's watching you. Just like the image that I gave you guys earlier, where you had the son paying attention to what a stranger was recording instead of paying attention to the actual predator, which was the father. It's the exact same thing here. When in public, women have been taught and raised to always look out for men, because men are dangerous. Men are villains. Men are criminal minded. They do the worst of the worst to everybody. So that means that when women are around women, their defenses are down. And if your defenses are down, you're more susceptible, and it's easier for another woman to do the things that you would expect a man to do. And in a lot of stories that I cover, that's what I find. So when I bring forth stories of female teachers going after students, when I bring forth women, allowing their boyfriends or significant others access to their kids, when I bring forth the fact that you have other women working in cahoots with one another in order to profit off of the pain and suffering from children, this is what I'm talking about. The main thing is to break down the incorrect teachings, because realistically, we should look at everybody the exact same way, because everybody has that potentiality. Don't matter if you're male or female. The potentiality to do wrong, to harm children, to go after them, to target them, to take their lives. Any adult out here can do that. I've seen a variety of adults, doesn't matter the color, creed, doesn't matter the religion. I've seen them all do it. And I've covered stories from South America to India to China to America to Canada to the UK to the islands. There's not a spot that I have not covered. The only places is the North Pole and Antarctica. That's it. Those are the only places, to my knowledge, where this said thing is not taking place. So again, that lets people know how prevalent and how problematic this issue is. But again, so few people want to see it as such. Mainstream media, the way that they tell it is that, yeah, we'll show this man here, we'll show you a ring of like 100 men. But what they're not showing you is the fact that you have a lot of women that are associated with these men. What they're not showing you is that in some of these instances, the main people have the most and the easiest access to kids are women. Like I said before, everybody will look at me as a man as a threat. But nobody's going to look at a woman as a threat being around kids. If a woman is just walking down the street with a kid that's not even hers or doesn't even look like her, nobody's going to question it. Nobody's going to think that realistically, that's a little bit odd. Like, that child doesn't look like you. Is that really your, like, who? Right? Nobody's going to do that. But if I walk down the street with a child that does not look like me, and that is not of my complexion, they look like they're of some other nationality that is not black, oh, there's going to be questions raised. People are going to stop and they're going to ask, hey, sir, are you married? Where's your wife? They're going to try to ask certain questions to get certain types of information, fishing. But that's not going to happen with women. And you see a lot of women out here walking with kids, and it could be 3, 4, 5. That might not be those kids might not even belong to that woman. Or in the mix of her kids, she might have somebody else's child. And you would never know what is specifically happening to that child, because again, nobody wants to question that, because people are going to keep looking at men as the main villains. Didn't we just there was a Latin woman by the name of Griselda, if I'm correct, with her name, and she was very good at what she did when it dealt with drugs. They're actually working on or have a documentary that is either complete or still being worked on. And I'm trying to figure out, is it Hymas Saliak, or is it another woman there? But there's was it Sofia Vergara? I forgot, but there is a woman that is going to be playing her. And like I said before, we've been taught to always look at men as the most dangerous ones out here. And that's a very dangerous perception to have, because anybody could potentially be a danger. Just give them enough time and give them the ability or the power to do so. Anybody could literally be a threat. Anybody. So now we're going to go to another video here.
and gun crimes. And tonight, 43 members of the so-called Ghostface gangsters are sentenced to prison.
6 of those gang members are from right here in the Coastal Empire. All of them pled guilty to numerous federal charges. Authorities say they were pushing drugs and guns throughout Savannah's neighborhoods. Federal investigators call it a large-scale criminal organization born right here in Georgia. The Ghostface gangsters are a white supremacist street gang.
This gang operates in the prisons, and then when they get out of prison, a lot of the gang members operate in the free world.
43 of those gang members were nabbed during Operation Vanilla Gorilla. It was the largest ever takedown of members of the Ghostface gangsters. All of them from Georgia are named in this 93-page indictment in an extensive firearms and drug trafficking investigation. 6 of those convicted include Nick Penfield, his brother Cody, and his father Mike, Kenneth Jenks, and also brothers Devon and Trevor Ains. All of them are from the Savannah area.
We targeted that gang and members who associate with that gang, and we dismantled them.
They use violence, firearms, the gang itself, the threat of retribution that the gang represents as a way to control people both inside the prison and outside the prison.
All of the men pled guilty to federal charges. Investigators say all of them pushed guns and drugs, especially crystal meth, throughout neighborhoods across Chatham and Effingham counties.
No doubt Savannah is one of the best cities in the world. I love it. It's got a gang problem like every other city. If you're in a gang and you're committing crimes, we're going to come and hunt you down and try to lock you up for as long as we can.
So I'm not sure if people know about this or if people have actually paid attention, but this gang does not look like your typical gang. It doesn't look like the gang that they like to polarize and give you all over social media and mainstream media. It's not the main gangs that a lot of people in politics likes to highlight. This is the complete opposite. And these people were deciding that, hey, I want to be in a gang and I want to tear up my own community. I want to be in a gang and I want to start, selling drugs. I want to start selling weapons in my community. So, this is, I like to highlight these things because a lot of times when it deals with statistics, people, want to skew or they want to highlight it in a certain way in order to only go after one demographic and to protect everybody else. But here you have a group, a straight gang that has no dealings, does not like anybody that is African American or anybody else. And they were literally tearing up their own community. They were selling narcotics in their own community. It wasn't that long ago I gave you guys a live stream and I told y'all that the fentanyl and the opioid epidemic back in 2020 cost America $1.5 trillion. Let me repeat that again. The fentanyl and the opioid epidemic cost America back in 2020 $1.5 trillion with a T. We're not talking about million. We're not talking about billion. We're talking about trillion with a T. A trillion is a part of the debt that America has at this moment in time, which is what, 33, 35, 36, somewhere in there. So that 1.5 trillion got added to that total. And again, that had nothing to do with, quote unquote, the African American community. And as I've stated to people before, it's a lot of people that look just like this that inevitably end up harming their own community. It's not people that look like me. Irregardless of whatever it is that you see on social media, irregardless of whatever it is that the news try to tell you, irregardless of all the other content creators out there that want to skew information, they want to specifically try to make it seem as though that yes, the African American community are really trying to, dismantle and harm, other communities out there. That's just not the case. Like I said, we got a multitude of stories. About what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 stories that were showcased in about close to 50 minutes. 50 minutes. 50 minutes. And it's telling what the actual problem is and who the actual problem is as well. As I told somebody on IG underneath a post where they wanted to complain about seeing the image of slavery reversed. Underneath that post, you had a lot of people that wanted to talk about, hey, just get over slavery. It's, it was in the past. It was this, it was that. You had another person that set up there and said that, you people just need to do better. And I simply quoted the debt that we have in the United States, where you had 100 to 135 billion in fraud, right? When they dealt with the joblessness and people trying to, commit job fraud. You had the F-35, what was it, Raptor, that cost $100 million to make, and the lifespan of that plane, the existence of that plane, is going to cost America $1.7 trillion. On top of the opioid and the fentanyl epidemic, which added $1.5 trillion. On top of the what was it? The $35 trillion black hole that the government has when it deals with accounting. Like I said, there's a lot of money that is missing. There's a lot of money mismanagement, and it's not happening by way of people that look like me. So as I've stated to people, I'm going to state this again. Instead of telling black people to do better, tell the people that you have in power that look just like you, tell the others in your community to do better. Because these problems that I just highlighted, this has nothing to do with the black community. It has zero to do. I can stand here and tell you that ain't no black man that have nothing to deal with any of these stories that is happening with the predominant majority that is the global minority on this planet. But like I said, this is why it is very important for people to widen their reach on the types of news and information that they get, because these are the type of stories that you're not going to get or see by mainstream media, because they know exactly who their demographic is, and they're not trying to piss off that demographic. They're trying to make sure that people stay through the commercials. So they're going to deliver you and give you certain types of stories that are bad, but also entertaining at the same time. It's only entertaining because it does not specifically deal with them, and it's not showing their face as the ones committing those crimes. But also within that exact same thing, I've highlighted and showed you guys videos before of Hollywood types of prosthetics that people can put on that are very skin-like. And some of the main ones that people like to buy are the black, dark brown, and brown type of headdresses and wear those. You had a guy who was Russian that was in America that robbed a bank, and he decided to put on one of these masks. And because he put on that mask, there was a black man that inevitably, I guess, looked like the mask, and he was the one that was arrested. Not only was that black guy arrested, he was arrested by his own mom because she saw the news and she swore up and down that that was her son that did it. She just knew it was her son that was the one that robbed that bank, and sat up there and called the police and turned him in. And inevitably, the only reason that black man ended up being free was because the Russian man who was the robber, his girlfriend turned him in. Because once another robbery took place, the police obviously knew. It's like, yo, we got another robbery that took place, and they said that the man you got locked up did it. But how is it possible that he did it and he's out there robbing? So like I said, it's crazy how these things work. And things like this happen all the time. So if you have people out here that are able to afford these Hollywood type of masks where it makes them look black, put in the numbers of how many quote unquote killings that you have, like drive-bys and things like that happen on an everyday basis. And you think these people are actually who you think that they are, but realistically they're not. It goes back to what they stated before, where they said that the whole world is a stage, because it is. Yo, Black First, what is up? What is up? What is up? Sanford, what is up? Sanford said, so the gangs of what were they called? I think it was like the Gorilla. I gotta go back to what this group was called. Let me see this. See if I can get the name of the gang. Because it was interesting, the name of the group directly up there. That was the other information. But yeah, while I look for this information, this is all just, again, like I said, completely crazy. Matter of fact, let me, this is another video as well, because as I stated before, it's about protecting the kids, and also a lot of parents or whoever should know these specific things that take place. I've highlighted this where these things happen with a Black couple who decided to have birth at home. They didn't want to go to a hospital, nor did they want to have to worry about, the whole thing of vaccinations and all of these other types of things. And inevitably CPS, came through with the police to go directly into the home, and they took the child forcibly from the parents. There's also videos of this happening to a couple while they were, in their car at all. As well. And the main thing that I'm trying to tell people again is that this further proves that when you are in this country, you don't have ownership of technically anything, not even yourself, not even your kids, of which you produced. Right? You got the God-given universal ability to create kids. And you got other people that can just forcibly come in and take your kids and be like, hey, we just need to check them. We need to make sure that they're up. I don't need you to do nothing. You ain't the parent. You ain't even family. What you doing here? But they can come through to your house and they can barge in. And the reason I tell y'all that they can sit up there and do that, again, if your child got a birth certificate, right? Your child got Social Security, right? All right, work permits, because they're part of the corporation, which means they are not yours. They are not yours at all. They are a part of America. America has ownership over them, over their body, over their anatomy and everything like that. But like I said, people don't understand. That's why I keep reiterating and tell people, go look up your birth certificate. Go look up your Social Security. Go look at the Black, because my card is I got like a blue card. So on the Black on the back of the card, you got some numbers. I don't have my wallet directly on me at this moment in time, but if you look at the back of your car, you should see some numbers, a dot and then some numbers depending on where you are. Go research those numbers. Go see where those numbers are going to sit up there and lead you. Go find out what your actual bank is. Go figure out how your birth certificate works, and who has their actual hands on that birth certificate, and where all of that stuff leads. Like I said, it's a rabbit hole. And this is why I tell people before, it's like, yo, pay attention. Pay direct attention and follow the information. So let me show you a mother that went to social media because she had a very unique problem.
Mom in Albia, Iowa. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 7-month-old. Something crazy has happened to me and I need to expose it to the world. This is the story that the hospital does not want you to hear. 7 months ago, I gave birth to my son, and 2 weeks later, DHS showed up at my door unannounced, and they told me that his umbilical cord tested positive for cocaine. I have never done cocaine in my life, and at this point, we were extremely upset and very fearful that they literally came to our home that day to remove our children. We decided to comply, and we let them in our home. They would have done it regardless, but we decided to be cordial. We let them in, they looked at our home, they studied our behavior, and of course they didn't see any behavioral indicators because we're not doing drugs, and they did not find any drugs in the home or signs of drug use. At that point, we told them this must be a mistake. We told them our story and our concern for what actually happened, if our son was actually exposed to cocaine and how. And we were also very concerned for the potential baby that may have been exposed to cocaine and didn't actually have any intervention that it needed. At that point, they said it's impossible that there could be a false positive or that a mistake could be made. They said, we're just doing our job, though this is an unusual case. And they said, we can't argue with the doctor. At that point, we underwent a 20-day investigation, and during which they did 2 visits with us for about an hour each, as well as a few phone calls. They then did a 3-month hair test, which of course came back negative. Though we knew it would be negative, we were very relieved when it was, and we thought, okay, this is the end of the road, and they're going to do what's necessary to understand what's going on here. At that point, they told us that actually the investigation that they did didn't really do anything because the case was automatically founded from the beginning from the original test. At that point, we received in the mail a letter saying that I was founded for a case of child abuse and I am on the child abuse registry. We were extremely upset by this because, again, we had every reason to believe that DHS was going to take the necessary steps to understand what happened, and they did not. And so we lost all faith in them. At this point, they said, we have to agree to services, and when we asked what they were, they would not tell us. And we said, well, how can we agree to something that we don't know what it is? And they said, you have to, or else I'm going to go to the county attorney and I will court order you to. At that point, we still were like, well, we need to know what they are, and then our DHS worker decided that we were declining services. And she escalated it to a China case, child in need of assistance, though she didn't actually have a child that was in need of actual assistance. So we prepared to go to court, and we spent months gathering all of our information. Fortunately, we started from the beginning, but this took a long time to do. We actually decided to do our own further testing that we had required or requested from DHS from the beginning that they declined and said that they would not do. So we did a 12-month hair test that covered the entirety of my pregnancy, and it was negative, of course. We also did 5 other tests that were also negative. Then we submitted this a few weeks before the court date so that everyone could get up to speed and actually see all the evidence we're submitting. We showed up in court, and the entire DHS staff had not looked at any of our evidence, and they came in wanting to see us for weekly visits. At that point, fortunately, we had representation, and my lawyer told them, we're not doing weekly visits unless she tests positive. So we decided we would agree to 1 more random test from them, and of course, if it's positive, then they could intervene further. We still have not had that, but fortunately from the court date, we received a court order to do additional testing on the sample, a DNA test and a retest, the original sample that caused all of this chaos. We received the court order, and then we went to the hospital and the lab and told them, showed them the court order, and then we were blatantly disregarded by both parties. The hospital and the lab disregarded this court order entirely. So at this point, we don't know what to do because we were told that we couldn't do further testing without a court order on the original sample. We got the court order, and now everyone is just skirting around this order, and they will not take it seriously. We also have the actual placenta in my freezer. The one that's in question, we have the actual placenta, and I cannot get anyone to do a drug test on it. They won't do it, they don't want to, and of course they don't want the liability. So here I am, 7 months in. I'm the mom of 2 small children. And my question is, DHS, how am I supposed to deal with all the shit that you've put me through? I've literally been through hell on earth because of your guys' mistake. And at this point, I want to know who else this has happened to, because I can't be the only one. Also, I feel bad for anyone who actually does have an active addiction that has their children removed, because honestly, I don't understand how anyone can recover from an addiction with the hell that you've put me through for the last 7 months. So if there's anyone out there that sees this and it resonates with them, please share it. Please message me or comment people that you know that this has happened to, because this is not okay.
So we all heard that, right? We heard how this is something that happened to her. And I can safely tell you from experience that the government, DHS or whatnot or whatever, they really don't actually care about kids. Neither do the police. Because when you have an actual occurrence where you have parents that are abusive towards their children, where the children have visible, marks, or you have stories of a parent striking a child to the point where they ended up bleeding. And you inform people directly of this. The police seemingly, they don't do their job. CPS or whatever it might be called directly in your state, they don't seemingly do their job either. The government does not care. There's a lot of stories of which I've covered where the police and many others were aware that certain things were happening to a child, but yet they opted to do nothing. They allowed that child to go right back to that abusive adult. And inevitably, that child went missing and he lost their life. So you do have a few people out here that do care, that are doing their due diligence and their best in order to try to protect the kids. But like I told people before, it's not enough. It's not enough. So again, I'm just going to generalize and generalize and generalize when it deals with this topic up until I am pretty much 100% proven incorrect. And I'm pretty sure that I can do that for several lifetimes. I'm pretty sure. Because as it stands, a lot of adults who are in power do not care. They will allow any and everything to specifically take place and happen to children that are not theirs. Because as I told you guys before, pay attention and take notice how it is that your children, kids in your family, are made to sign up for the army, for the military. But those who are in power, the government, elite, whatever you want to describe them as, notice how their kids don't have to sign up. Notice how you don't have or hear of their kids. Oh yeah, my kid is going to the military. When is the last time that you heard of any celebrity talking about, yeah, my kids signed up for the military, they're about to be, heading out? You don't. Because they've afforded and sacrificed to make sure that their child does not have to do what it is that your children are meant to do. This is why you always hear so many celebrities always state that, I fought and sacrificed to give, my kids the best life so that they don't have to, go through what it is that we all had to. Yeah. Because they know what it is. They know what's up. The whole thing is that people don't know what's up. So again, your kids are told and built to go out here and be work, to be slaves, to do all of these things, while the children of celebrities are just left to do and live a quote unquote normal life. Be free, do whatever it is that they want to do. They can take trips, they can get passports. They barely got to worry about getting stopped by the police. They don't got to worry about being at a dead-end job, having college debt for 30 years. They don't got to worry about trying to switch careers or positions because the economy is falling down. Like I said, it's a complete clear-cut difference. And a lot of people don't understand, again, society doesn't care about the kids. Let me be more specific. If you're middle class to poor, society, the government, the police, and everybody else does not care about your kids. At all. Timothy said, now you know how a black man on child support feels, except you have more access to your kids. I've covered videos about, black men being on child support, and I've seen social media rumblings about it, and it's mostly from the perspective of women in general who feel that men should be on, child support. And again, I've given quite a bit of pushback because you got guys on child support who are not even the actual fathers of those kids. You have some dudes who have been on child support from speaking, from the perspective of a guy that listened to an older guy. I've heard a story of a father that was in the home that took care of the kids, took care of the house, and he was still on child support. Now imagine that. Imagine that. Do you understand how jacked up that is? Let me just rewind that for you real quick, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of women wouldn't be able to comprehend this, because that's something that they don't have to face or go through. You could be a man that is taking care of the household. You're around your kids, homework, dinners, trips, all of these things. And inevitably, you can still be put on child support. Let that sink in. And that lets you know how jacked up America is. That lets you know how jacked up the system is and why it is that a lot of men want this to be changed. And it should be changed. Because you have, some women directly out there who view their children as meal tickets, as a way to get back at a guy, being vengeful and hateful and deceitful, and not actually caring about the kids. Again, so going back to what I stated earlier about women knowing certain things and not actually caring about the kids, and allowing certain things to transpire. Yeah. That's why I brought you guys the video of the previous woman. Let me see if I still got that video. Let me see if I can actually find that really, really quick. Brought you guys the video of, matter of fact, hold on. This one right here. Right? Now y'all see this, right?
Drugs is not good for you.
You got her sitting up here smoking a full-on cigarette. Now I heard people in the background, but she out here smoking a full cigarette like she is a mother of 5 and she done lived a full life. Somebody has to explain to me how is this even possible. Like I said before, a lot of people out here don't care about the kids. And I showcase and I put these videos up here to bring awareness, because stuff like this should not be okay. Stuff like this should not be allowed. Like I said, I don't know who this girl is. I don't know who the parents are, but she needs to be given to a family member who is actually going to take care of her. Again, this should not be a thing. Like I told people before, I make sure to showcase examples, the things that I'm talking about. So let me see if I can find this video for y'all. Just really quickly. Take a brief. It's not even going to be a second, actually. It's going to be a little bit longer because I got quite a few videos up here that I have to go directly through quite slowly, just so I can put this up. Oh yeah, and then that was the other video that I gave to y'all as well too. Let me put that back up there. It's another video right there where you got migrants from other places around the world coming directly into the United States, and they're being allowed to take up space in a school. And that happened on the 11th. So kids would have actually had school that day, but they opted to allow a whole other group of people to take over that school. And like I said, that's crazy to me. Stuff like this should not happen. So when I sit up there and tell y'all that the government does not care about your kids, I mean exactly what it is that I stated. And again, I ain't stuttering. I am not stuttering at all. At all. Like I said, look at that. Clear cut ridiculous. enough, it's like I can't actually find that video. It's a little bit weird. Like I said, let me know what y'all think about this stuff. Because like I said, maybe I'm a bit crazy. I might be a little bit too deep into the conspiracies, you know. Might be a little bit too deep into conspiracies. And, as I stated before, when it deals, with women and, being single and stuff like that, I've stated that, hey, you should just focus on you and, worrying about that. But we're in a society where people are free to do the things that they, want to do, and instead of the things that are specifically a necessity. Let me just show off this one last video, right? Let's see. Just share this screen if I can. Shout out to everybody that's in attendance at this moment in time.
We can't believe this man really put his.
Let me just speed this up real quick.
We end up having a conversation. He just packed his stuff and left. Through all of that, all you had to do was throw his ass out if it's a true story. It sounds to me like y'all ain't never heard of domestic violence. Baby, if you don't know our track record, let me go ahead and give you a little insight real quick. All you got to do is look us up, Bookie. We got over 10 domestic violence cases, burglarizing, kidnapping, all of that. So why in my good mind would I just throw his shit out? Do you think I want to get... We can't believe this. We can't believe this, man.
Right. So like I said before, and again, you can clearly see that she has a child directly to the side. A lot of people, from my perspective, as I'm looking at it, don't tend to care about kids. And for you as a single mother to allow a whole other man that you don't know access and to be around your kids is a very dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing. Right. And I told you guys when I was younger, like early 20s, right? I told you about my son. Even though biologically he is, he's not my son. But he still refers to me as his dad because I was around him ever since since he was like 6 months old, right? I told her when, we first met that, because, I thought that, she was just completely, single, right? Because we're all, young, early 20s, stuff like that. So when I saw her and then I see that she had like a kid, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, you didn't really, in a sense, mention, anything, about that or, whatnot or whatever. And, I sat up there and let her know, I'm like, yo, you are like very much lucky, because I'm like, yo, you're taking a risk just, meeting a guy and you're, allowing him to just be here. Right. And I sat up there and told her, like, if ever at a point in time that we break up, do not ever sit up there and take, another risk, like this, because again, it's dangerous. And, of course, people don't listen to me. And, people still want to do what it is that they want to do, regardless of, the best interest that somebody may have. So, like I said before, and I'm going to reiterate again, and this is coming from personal experience of me trying to inform, a single parent, a woman raising a child, trying to inform her, like, yo, don't take steps like this that could potentially endanger not only your life but the life of your child. Like I said, you lucked up, you got lucky, because a lot of the guys ain't like me. They'll just decide to wreck shop, do whatever it is that they want to sit up there and do, and just cut and leave the scene. So like I said before, I need a lot of women out here to stop taking unnecessary risks because you feel a certain type of way, or because you're not fine with being alone. You're not fine with being, by yourself. You're not okay with that, because it is a very dangerous world out here. And again, this is why I showcase and talk about the topics that I talk about, because far too many women out here take risks, and you have guys out here that legitimately care, and women will still go out here and take unnecessary risks and then turn around and start crying. So, like I said before, there's a lot of things that are happening specifically out here, and women know about these things out there in the open, clear cut, and nothing gets talked about, resolved. People don't get arrested. People don't get thrown in jail. People just allow it to happen. People allow it to be generational trauma. So, I guess that's it. I'm not trying to really have this one go on for too long, but that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to go through the comment section. Shout out, what is up to Hack, Black First, Timothy, Sanford Taylor, what is up, Gail, Mahoko, what is up, Alex. I'm sorry, I said Alex. Arthur Phoenix, my bad. Arthur Phoenix, what is up? Who else we got up in here? I think I saw Pink's name directly up here. We got RJ up in here. Ultra, what is up? DC Precise, Hazel. I love my ad block. Who else is in here? What is it? 1D a key. And Russell Casey. And I think that's it. So again, shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to everybody in attendance. TMC, yo, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Said it's good to see and hear you do. Much love, respect, and appreciation. So again, much love for everybody that's in attendance that stayed through to listen to me talk about this subject or these subjects for about an hour and 23 minutes. Again, if you would like to support the platform, especially and more specifically dealing with topics like this, you can do that, a multitude of ways. Because again, like I told y'all before, it could come a point in time in the future where YouTube will decide to change their guidelines and they'll completely just black out, content like this on the platform. And you'll only be able to hear and learn certain types of, information. So, again, much love and respect, and thank you guys for your support and, showing up here daily on these live streams on both platforms. So I love you guys. Stay safe. If you're going through snow or the cold snaps right now, be careful of the black ice and different things out there that's happening. Hope that you guys make it home the same way that you left, which is healthy, safe and sound. Make sure to take a relax and take a breather, have some good food, catch up on some shows and some movies, and, enjoy life. And I will see you guys on the next live stream.